Hi, I'm Melinda Van Fleet, and welcome to the Confident Conversations podcast. I'm an author, speaker, and success coach who helps women believe in themselves, build confidence, and take action. This podcast shares authentic and transparent, thought-provoking stories, tips, and tools from my experiences, as well as incredible guests, so you can continue to build your confidence and live your best life. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's get started on this confidence journey. Real quick before we begin, I am super excited about the release of my first book, Confidence Mastery for Couples, a roadmap to a more intimate relationship, and the book releases March 9th. Stay tuned for more about it and other confidence-related books that I will be releasing every 3 months, and there will always be a link in my show notes. Now on to the podcast. Hi everyone, welcome to the Confident Conversations podcast. Thank you in advance for joining me this week. I wanted to give a little update on my photo shoot. And I had a photo shoot, it'll be 2 weeks ago, for my book that's coming up, Confidence Mastery for Couples, Roadmap to a More Intimate Relationship. And I talked about my fear of getting my picture taken on episode 66, Conquer Your Fear episode tip. And I thought it would be fun to circle back to it because it ended up being an amazing experience. I had so much fun. I really let go of a lot of things in the past that were blocking me. And you can tell in my photos. So I ended up having a decision that I needed to make yesterday. And the decision was what picture to pick for my back cover, because so many of them turned out really, really good. And then it came down to two where I edited to two different shots. One was more casual and one was a little more formal. And I didn't know really what people would think. So I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ask for help. And it worked when I had asked for help with my book cover. I actually used all the feedback and merged two of the covers, took one piece from one, the background, and then how the font was for the subtitle on another cover option, and had them redo the cover, and it worked out really, really well, and I was really pleased with it. So asking for help really can provide clarity, take the pressure off of you, and you know what? All these people out there have amazing thoughts and ideas. So how cool is that to ask your audience for help, or a friend for help, or a family member, and alleviate that pressure and get an even better idea? And that is what happened. So I got a lot of votes for this one photo, the one that was more casual, and then some feedback that it shouldn't be so close up. It needed to be back a little bit. So I went back and forth and just kind of revised the shot. And then my photographer actually was on the Facebook feed as well. And she did a final tweak to it, which was really cool. And voila, it's done. So I am super excited. And when you have help and people give you feedback, and I would say feedback in general for most people is really, really positive. Once in a while, yeah, you're going to have some person who isn't positive, and you have to figure out how to deal with that, right? Or how are you going to accept it? Is it feedback that's valid, or is it someone being a troll online? Because we know there's lots of those. But for the most part, have a little faith in other people that they're going to try to help you. And you're going to have some really great feedback or ideas that you can then implement to help you move forward in whatever you're doing and build that level of confidence. So in this example with the picture, now I feel really excited, even more than I was before, about the choice and putting my back cover together. And that's going to help me really get behind it and have excitement and true, authentic passion in regards to promoting it, right? And those wins, that actual process, helped build my confidence that is what it takes to help sell a book, right? I'm doing this on my own. I'm not paying one of those companies, $3,000 plus to market my book to get the bestseller. That's a whole Amazon bestseller thing that's going on out there. So when someone says, "Oh, I'm a bestseller," there's a whole process and system to that. And I'm not negating it. I was part of it in the Brilliant Breakthroughs. I see both sides of the coin, which is actually something I'm really proud of as a human, is I'm really good at seeing both sides of the coin. And I just chose not to take that route because I'm going to be releasing a book every 3 months. So it didn't make sense to me to do that. And it just didn't feel good. I was like, you know what, if I have to work a little harder, if it takes me a little longer, I'll know that I got bestseller status because of the work I did, not because I paid someone to work whatever they work, because they don't tell you how it goes down. You just get the email that you got international bestseller status. So you don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. And just a little tidbit on that one too. If you are someone who's thinking of becoming an author, you won't have access to your KDP account because only one email can get into KDP. So just kind of keep that in mind too. Like, I wanted to have access to my book and my account. So again, if it takes me a little longer, if I have to work a little harder, then I will know that I did it. And I will feel good about that and have built my own confidence in regards to selling my own book. So that is the update on the pictures. If anyone had listened to that episode, again, that was episode 66, that I talk about my fear of the photo shoot and how I really worked on getting better over time. And my first photo shoot was probably, in the eyes of the photographer, a nightmare. But, just always working and pivoting and changing and trying to get better, right? We should all be trying to get better, but you have to do the work, you have to put in the reps, and you have to also ask for feedback, and in this case, ask for help. The other thing that I did that you may or may not be aware of was change the name of my private Facebook group, and I'm in the process of changing the name of my, I want to say, newsletter, email blast, however you want to put it. And I'm changing all of that to Good Karma Confidence. Here is why. And this is also a lesson I was also sharing with somebody else over the weekend as they were asking me about marketing. When I started, I had all these names, and this was Crush It for Sales, and now it's Confident Conversations. As you learn and grow and figure things out, you need to pivot and change, and that is okay. So as I changed the name of this podcast and felt really good about it, because I had been thinking about it for months, and I feel really, really good about the name change, I then started to go, okay, so now I've got a Facebook group called Good Karma Vibes, because the Facebook group was based on the meetup that I had started in 2019. And then my newsletter was originally called Monthly Mojo, and then I changed that to Monday Mojo, and I'm like, now that's out of sync, right? So streamlining, as I've been learning and going along, is a good thing because I haven't stopped. I haven't stopped doing the work. I've kept going. And that's what I really want people to know. And if I talk about these types of things a lot, there's a reason. There's a reason. And it's because people don't do the work. They don't keep going. They don't even get started. And you're like, oh my God, get started. You can change. You can change the name of your podcast. When I started Good Karma Success Coach podcast, it was originally called Good Karma Life Coach. So I actually have the URL for Good Karma Life Coach. I have an email address. My PayPal, I think I need to change that email. There's just still like little disconnects that kind of happen over the time. But I got started and I figured I can make changes as I go along, as I really find my voice and discover, who's your audience. Because when you get started, especially if you're really starting from no social media presence like I did, I'm like the poster child for was never on social media and decided to do this. You know, you don't know. You don't know jack shit. You don't know what's going on out there. You don't know the competition. You don't know how hard you have to work. You don't know what people will resonate with. You have no clue. So you have to get started on something. So I picked some names out of the sky. I was like, okay, this feels good to me. I like this. This kind of jives. And I just got going. So now I feel more aligned and more streamlined with having confidence. All my confidence book series that is already in play, obviously with the launch of my first book. Even the book chapter that Ryan and I wrote for Brilliant Breakthroughs was around confidence. The article that is in Marketing, Media, and Money magazine, which I'm a columnist in for the year with Patty Farmer, she is the founder of that magazine. Those articles will all be on confidence, and I am her confidence expert for the year. And so it made sense. I changed this podcast. Now I changed my weekly email. I changed my Facebook group. And so now that's all in alignment. And then Good Karma Success Coach, all those tips that I share, whether they're spiritual or not, help you build confidence. So that's in alignment as well. It just happens to be another podcast. So I hope that my sharing these stories of just getting started and not having it figured out, I still probably don't have it figured out. Who knows? Like in a year, maybe I'll change it again. I have no clue. But I'm just keeping on rolling. I am keeping on rolling and I'm figuring it out. And I'll share something also really funny that anyone out there in the world can laugh at because it is actually hilarious. But here I am on Facebook and I wasn't even public. So the person with the smallest audience in the world, that would be me, raising my hand, wasn't even public on Facebook. I didn't even understand that that was like a thing until like last week. It just dawned on me. I think divine intervention like put something in my brain and was like, you need to get public on Facebook. So, again, I just took a step. I kept going. I didn't see the whole staircase. I just saw the first step, to quote Martin Luther King Jr. I love that quote. I've been using that a lot lately. And, I just did it. I just did it. So whatever you are thinking of doing, do it. Do something that moves you forward and let the pieces fall as they may. Let things fall out, let things appear, let things take shape. It's okay. And the things will fall out along the way. They will fall out along the way. And that is totally fine too. And sometimes, you might spend money on something and it didn't work out. Yep. I can raise my hand really high on that. And I should probably do a podcast on that. So lots of things have been like, oh God, I wish I didn't spend that money on that, but it happened. So especially with some courses with some people that are pretty big names, those have been a waste of money. So definitely think about all those things. And I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear if you have had some wins from taking some action and moving forward, and some pivots and changes, which are also wins. Those are wins because you're learning and you're moving forward in the right direction. So thank you so much for listening. Please feel free to follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, Melinda_Van Fleet. My other podcast, as I mentioned, is called Good Karma Success Coach. And if you go on either website now, I updated the Melinda Van Fleet website. You can click on the part at the top. It says click here for the free Believe and Take Action Daily Guide. And that will also sign you up for the Good Karma Confidence weekly email blast. So I really appreciate it. Until next time, keep growing your confidence. Have a great week. Thanks.